I'm kind of getting concerned about these professors in Southern California. About a couple months ago, you had this professor that did dumpster diving, and he talks about good food people throwing away and the things he was able to retrieve and so on. And he looks so cheap and so stupid. Now here we have this UCLA professor, Donald Shoup, and he believes that he's the prophet of parking, and he thinks that the free parking and inexpensive car space is causing people to purchase a lot of cars, and they go and live far out so they could travel in and all this stuff, and how we should charge different prices, and how places are so expensive because it includes parking and all this stuff. Now, I think right away he'd be one of the guys who oppose the loan to the auto companies, because probably he thinks that we shouldn't use autos, we should just use bicycles. And I don't understand what's going on. I believe the problem here is this, that as usual, you went to school and you studied nothing, just sailed through school, and then you went to the class and then became a urban planning and parking, expert and so on, and inviting him around the world to hear his malarkey. Now, if he had done a true American education, because you see, in America, these fellows are studying like if they're British. They only want to do their specialty. You see, in the British system, if you want to be a scientist, let's say like a medical doctor, or let me say a biologist, you can start studying biology from 11 until you finish your doctorate. So you have so much biology. But then you have no other training in other areas, like sociology and psychology and history and so on. You have to do that on your own. And so in America, it seems to be people naturally just like to focus on whatever they're interested in. In my case, I give equal attention to all my courses. Although I was doing business, I gave my public speaking, my psychology, my sociology, my history, my music, everything similar interest, and so on. And I want to understand each equally, because I believe that, even if I were to be a management expert, much of it has to do with the sociology and the psychology of, the office and the workplace and so on. And if you just don't understand anything of that, you might not be able to hire the right people, and might not be able to create the right environment, and so your business could fail. And so this professor here, Donald Shoup, if he had done other things like maybe economics, and with interest, and put equal effort like how he put into his urban stuff, I think he would make a lot more sense, because he would temper his way out dumb stuff with a more moderate approach. I gotta believe that you don't drive your car and spin your tires out and be driving fast and burning extra gas. But if a guy wants to buy a car for whatever kind of status symbols, transportation, whatever, that's his business. And with you see, everybody can't live in the city and close to where the work is, and so you have to spread out. And as you go further out, you might need your own transportation, because you got to wait on the bus, you got to wait whenever, and then you have to connect. In other words, with my vehicle, I'll get to where I'm going faster than if I have to take the public transport. I mean, there are certain times when, like rush time, you might have a small problem, but overall, you get to your places quicker, and you have more time that you could spend on other things. So for him to come up and say that, in essence, I read it as saying that we should go back to the horse and buggy days. We shouldn't have so many cars. We should just use public transport. And what's the point? We're going to lose all those jobs. We're going to have to import our cars from overseas if you need cars or buses or whatever, because the fuel that we'll be selling is not cost effective to manufacture them. So that I don't know what's wrong with these professors. And I think the real problem is that they're trying to specialize when they weren't supposed to be specialists. They're supposed to be a generalist. That's what American education prepares you for, to make some moderate points, because you're bringing in other disciplines that will help you temper your kind of specialized, idiosyncrasies. So I don't know if this guy is a leftist, or if he's against capitalists, or whether he's straight up kind of idiot, because he looks as if he's handicapped. And if he's handicapped, then of course, the mind is not too straight, like this guy up in the astrophysicist in Britain. He's suffering from, I think, multiple sclerosis. He also has it of the brain, because the dumb stuff he's talking about shows that he doesn't have the time or the interest in other things, and he wants to speculate from his specialty involving other areas that he has no clue about. And if he did, he wouldn't say the dumb stuff he's saying. So these professors need to be careful. As one student says, I don't like my teachers because they don't know anything. Well, you're just on track to be just like her because you don't know anything also. I told her, I say, you like how I know stuff, but it's a different situation I come from. We spend 30 hours a week studying. How many hours you spend a week studying? None. So how do you expect the teachers who grew up just like you would have more depth and more breadth? So these professors need to be careful how they're talking dumb because, I mean, if the professors are talking this dumb, much as folks that aren't, educated, who haven't gone to university and so on, they would be so far out. It's like, my God, how are we going to really, how can we counteract these kind of dumb things that kind of pervade in society today?